sure to check out Ageless Geeks for your figures and collectibles. So what is going on, thy fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Neca Toys Predator 2-pack Bad Blood vs. Enforcer. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at this awesome looking box. So we do get a very cool and collector friendly style box for this Neca Predator 2-pack. So we do get the window right here in the front of the box displaying the figure and the accessories, and if you look on the sides of the box here, we get some very cool comic book style images that I really do dig a lot about this box. And on the bottom we do get a comic book image of Bad Blood and Enforcer, and then in the middle says Predator Bad Blood versus Enforcer. And then here is the bottom of the box with the bar code below so nobody cares about. Then it to show everyone who is in on this project over at Neca. And then here's the top of the box, and then the one side of it here does have a couple cool images of the Bad Blood Predator. And then the other side of the box does have some more cool images, but of the Enforcer Predator. And then the back of it does show a bunch of really cool poses you can get the figures into, along with some of the accessories. And then on the very bottom here, it does show more figures that you can collect in the Neca Predator line. And then we do have a little bio at the top here, so if you would like to read it, you can pause it right now and read it on up. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this 2-pack open and take a closer look at these awesome looking Predators, and I really need to read this graphic novel. And real quickly before we continue with the review, just need to give a big shout out and thank you to toynewsi for sending me this Neca Predator 2-pack to review for all of you. And be sure to check out toynewsi for figure news and other related figure topics. I do post my reviews and pictures that I've taken of the figures that I review, in case you would like to check that out as well. Alrighty, to get a closer detailed look, and we will go over Bad Blood first. And man, this figure is so awesome. Neca really does a fantastic job when it comes to their Predator line. Now I know the original figure, he did not have the masked head sculpt, and he has a pretty cool biomask here. I love that goldish paint with the black wash mixed through it. You get like some cracks all throughout it, and then you get some like jagged pieces on the top here. These are sharp, and they stab you when you pop the head on. When you're switching the heads, these will stab you, so be careful of that. We have the target lock-on mechanism thing right there. The eyes are blacked out. This one has like a red dot in it, which looks pretty cool. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's his actual eye, because it doesn't look like there's like a lens on the left eye, but it looks really cool. And he does have the cable, but he doesn't have a plasma caster, so if anybody knows what that's all about, feel free to let me know in the comments. The Pred Dreads turned out really cool, and you can see his face under the mask as well, which looks dope. But the Pred Dreads, all individual like usual when it comes to Neca Predators, and they did a beautiful job on all of them. You have the gold jewels all throughout them, and then we do get to the torso here. And I really dig the way this Predator's skin looks. You get some purple mixed in with like that yellowish beige, and then that very light like cream type color, and it looks really nice. And you get the netting, which is sculpted and painted very clean on this figure here. Then we do get a little bit of the armor, and his body mold is actually the City Hunter. Enforcer is the Jungle Hunter, so it's pretty much the City Hunter body, but made into Bad Blood here. And I like the, I guess, coppery or brownish type color for his armor. It looks more like brown. Beautiful sculpt all throughout it, and we do get like some black wash throughout it as well. Then we do get some trophies all throughout this Bad SOB. So we have some like spinal pieces all over here, which I really love. I think that looks awesome. Looks like actual bone. We do get a piece of armor on the right shoulder as well. There's the back of the armor looking great. He does have this little loop here, which I'll let you guys know what that's for a little bit later, but beautiful job on the paint and sculpt on the back of the armor. On the right or the left shoulder, he does have a Predator skull, and I think this is a main reason why the Predators are hunting him down, because he's killing off his own kind. But I mean, it turned out really good. It actually looks like a skull. This mandible is out a little bit. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. I feel like it's supposed to look like that one, but the skull I think turned out great. And then we do get his computer device, and his opens the opposite way compared to most Predators. There's nothing, their Predator language isn't on the screens or anything like that, but very nice job on that gauntlet. Then the right one here, we do have the blades. I can't get the blades to shift out or slide out. I guess they're stuck in there. I might have to heat it under some hot water or something. And then on the bottom of his gauntlets on both sides, we have some bones on there as well. And then we do get the little loincloth here. We have this piece, which is a separate piece, and it's on like a string or something. So be careful not to break it. Then we do get the black piece, which is under it, and it has some very nice sculpt and detail on both pieces. He is wearing a Predator thong there, and that piece is supposed to cover his Predator butt. And then for the legs here, we do get more of the netting, very clean paintwork on it. I love the skin tone with the purple mixed in with that beige, yellowish type color. And then we do have the holster for the smart disc, and for some reason these never work the way they're supposed to. I always had issues with trying to get the smart disc to stay in there, and it does not. And his smart disc is a lot bigger and doesn't fit in there at all. Get a little bit of armor on the left leg. We do get some more trophies on his knees. I'm guessing that's his knee armor. They kind of look like demons or something. They're probably some sort of creatures or monsters that he most likely killed. We get some more bones or spinal pieces on the side of the leg armor. The leg armor looks great, and then very nice job on the feet there. His claws or toenails are really sharp, so be careful of that. Then the bottom, we do get some sculpt work. So Bad Blood, I think, turned out fantastic. Now let's take a look at his arch nemesis or enemy, the Enforcer Predator. And the Enforcer Predator pretty much looks just as dope. I do like the way his skin looks a lot more compared to Bad Blood. It's more of that like cream type color mixed with the purple, and I really dig the way that looks on a Predator. Now his biomask is a little bit different compared to like the classic Predator. It does look like the classic Predator, but we get all these sharp extended pieces going out, and it gives it a nice unique look. We have the target lock-on mechanism on the right side there. The visor looks really cool. You can see his face a little bit underneath the mask there. Be careful of these pieces. I feel like if you put too much pressure on them, they will break. Then we do get a symbol here, which I'm guessing is like the Predator police type symbol. And his Pred dreads look pretty cool too. They are brown mixed with a little bit of black. We get the gold jewels in them as well, and of course they are all individual. And like I said before, his body is the Jungle Hunter Predator body. Now the netting, sculpted and painted really clean on this figure. We get some of the armor right here. There is a tube that goes from the shoulder to this piece of armor, but I ended up breaking it on mine. I did the same thing on my A-Hat Predator. There's another one over here on the left arm as well, so be careful not to break those. But the armor looks great over here. I love the silver that they chose. I don't know if that's a dry brush. I believe it's a dry brush to add it on there, or maybe it's a wash on the silver armor. But we get a couple straps here that connect to the back of the armor, and the back of the armor looks dope too. And he is included with a plasma caster. Now the right arm has a tiny piece of armor up on the shoulder, and then we do get his wrist blades on the right arm as well, and they do shift out. And the wrist blades are a bit fragile, so be careful not to break them, but the gauntlet looks beautiful on this figure. Then on the left side here, we do get more armor over his shoulder and arm, which looks dope. We do have the tube that connects from the bicep piece down to the device. Be careful, because that could break. And the device looks great too. It does open the correct way this time. There's no Predator writing or anything on the screens there, but really great job on the device. Then we do get his loincloth, which I believe is the same exact loincloth as the Jungle Hunter Predator. It has a nice gray look to it with the armor as well. We do get the Predator cup there, and it has a very nice wash all throughout the silver, but very nice sculpt all throughout the gray piece there. Then there's the back. I like how there's a little pouch here. I think that looks dope. We get sculpted wrinkles all throughout it and a very nice shading as well. And then we do get a smart disc holster as well, but like I said, they're like impossible to get the smart discs to stay in there, but I love the sculpt work throughout that. That really looks beautiful. And on the other side, we get some more armor with some beautiful paintwork all throughout it, and sculpt. The netting, once again, sculpted and painted really well on this figure, and I just love the way his skin looks. Very cool looking. And then we do get the knee and the lower leg armor, which looks great. I mean, Neca does a beautiful job when it comes to detail on their figures, especially their Predator line. And then we do get his Predator feet with the Predator sandals, and I love the way the purple blends into like that cream type color. It looks really nice. And then there's the bottom of him with his sandals. But overall, I think Neca destroyed it with the detail on these figures, and I can't be any more happy with how they turned out. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get a bunch of awesomeness included with each Predator. So we'll take a look at Bad Bloods first, then we'll look at Enforcers. So with Bad Blood, we do get 2 alternate heads or faces. And starting on the left, we do get the Biomask alternate head sculpt, which is the one that does come on the figure out of the packaging, which we already took a look at. And then on the right, we do get my personal favorite, which is the unmasked open mandible and mouth face sculpt. And that's what I really dig a lot about the NECA Unmasked Predator face sculpts. I always think that makes a Predator look even more badass instead of the mandibles and mouth being closed. I love the paint all throughout it. The sculpt looks fantastic. My favorite thing about Bad Blood's unmasked head sculpt here is he has an eyebrow ring, and it is a separate piece, as you can see right there. The only issue is the eyes really aren't painted where they're both looking straight ahead, but it's not too bad on Bad Blood. And the alternate heads on the NECA Predator figures, as we all know, are a bit difficult to swap out, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. And swapping the heads is pretty difficult for the NECA Predator figures. These aren't as bad as some I've had in the past, so they're just connected to a peg, so you just gotta pull to get it off, and it pops off. And this one wouldn't fully pop in when I would get it on, but I think it does fully peg in. It just doesn't make a pop, but you gotta really force that on there. Jeez Louise! And I think I got it on. As you can see, you didn't hear a pop, but I believe it is fully on there. And this is how I will definitely have Bad Blood displayed with this head sculpt, because this one just looks badass. So we do get the alternate heads for Bad Blood, and then we also get a few trophies. So we do get these 2 creature-like trophies for Bad Blood here, and the sculpt and paint on them turned out fantastic. Really cool looking. Even the bottom of them look great too. So we do get that, and they are connected together. You can put this around his waist. I'll show you how to do that shortly. And then we do get 2 human head trophies here, and these things look so awesome. Great sculpt and paintwork on these, and you can see the blood coming out their eyes, mouth, even their nose on one of them. The hair turned out really good. Then the other side, you can see where he just sliced their head in half. That is disgusting, but looks great. You can see their brains on the inside and everything. It just looks nasty, but so well done. Really great job by NECA on these. Then we have 2 hooks here, which you could hook around his belt, and I'll show you how to put these on in a second. And the way you get Bad Blood's trophies on is simple. The loincloth piece that has the rope, I take this one here, and I slide one of the skulls in there, so then that's hanging off the rope like that. And then the human skulls, you could either hook them around the waist. I like to hook it on the rope piece as well, just like that. And I like to slide them more towards the back. You could put them wherever you would like, though. I mean, it's easy to get them on there, and once you have them on, it looks pretty damn cool. So we do get that stuff. And then we also get a smart disc, a spear, and his sword. And then we do get this accessory, and I have no idea what the hell this is. It looks like a Predator dreadlock, but I don't know where it goes at all. If anybody knows anything about this, feel free to let me know in the comments. But, I mean, it turned out nice with the sculpt and paint on it. So we get that. And then we do get my favorite accessory for Bad Blood, which is his blade. We have blood all over it. You can see the silver for the blade there. The wrappings look great, and you can see like the bone on the bottom of the handle, which looks pretty cool. So we do get his bloody blade, and then we do get a spear, and the spearhead, or the spear tip, was kind of put on a little crooked, which kind of sucks, but the spear looks pretty cool. And the handle of it has some nice sculpt and paint to it as well, as you can see there. And this you could store in that little loop on the back of Bad Blood. I'll show you that shortly. So we do get the spear, and then finally we do get his smart disc, which looks really nice. The sculpt and paint turned out great on it, especially on the inside. I like the way that looks. I don't know why it looks like that. Maybe he's either putting his camouflage cloak on or off. I'm guessing that's why it looks like that. But very cool smart disc, different from other Predators. Let me show you how to store the spear on Bad Blood right now. And the way you holster the spear on the back here, we do have this little loop, and this is what I believe the loop is for, to holster the spear. You just gotta slide it right in the loop there, and then just slide it down, and then there you go. You have the spear holstered, which looks pretty cool once you have it on there. So we do get all that stuff And then we finally get 4 alternate hands. And starting on the top here, we do get a pair of gripping hands, and the right gripping hand is a more narrow grip, while the left hand is a more opened grip. And then on the bottom, we do get a pair of open hands. This is more like a splayed out open hand, and this one's more for holding. The Smart Disc, we get beautiful sculpt and paintwork throughout all 4 of them, and these hands are scary to swap out and are pretty difficult swapping out as well. So for Enforcer, he is also included with 2 alternate heads or faces. And starting on the left, we do get the Biomasked head sculpt, which is the one that does come on the figure out of the packaging that we already took a look at. And then on the right, we do get the Unmasked head sculpt, which looks beautiful. Excellent sculpt and paint detail throughout the Unmasked head sculpt. I really dig the way this one looks, but he has the closed mandible and mouth look. And another thing I'm not happy about is the eyes are both looking outward instead of straight ahead, which is pretty disappointing, and these are also pretty difficult to swap out as well. I'm going to show you how to swap them right now. And the way you swap Enforcer's heads, same thing as Bad Blood. You just gotta unpeg it off the peg there, and be careful when you peg this back on not to put pressure on this. Do it on here or on the sides. You don't want to end up breaking that. And then you take the unmasked one, and the thing with the unmasked one, they didn't fully peg in like the mandible and cheek part, as you can see right there. It's really not that big of a deal though, but all you got to do is push this on the peg like so. Come on, you bastard. And there we go, we have the unmasked one on, and that looks dope once you have it on Enforcer there. So we do get the alternate head sculpts, and then we also get his plasma caster, his spear, Smart Disc, and then we do get a separate mask. So the plasma caster here is pretty basic. We've got this with a lot of past NECA Predator figures, like the Ultimate Ahab Predator was included with this plasma caster, and I love the silver paint. We get a beautiful black wash in it as well, just excellent sculpt detail all throughout this. NECA just kills it in that department. And then the cannon here is articulated. It can hinge back and forth, and then the cannon is connected to a tiny ball peg so it can pivot, move up and down, and then swivel as well. So you do get a little bit of articulation out of it, and it does connect the basic way. I'll show you how to do that shortly. So we do get the plasma caster, then we do get the spear, which is kind of like warped or put on crooked, which kind of sucks, but it does have a very nice black wash all throughout it. The sculpt looks great on it, and I do dig the silver paint. The handle looks fantastic. These are very fragile, so be careful with them. So we get that, and we do get his Smart Disc here, which is basic. We've gotten this plenty of times with other Predator figures. We get a subtle black wash, and once again, the silver paint does look very nice on it. And then we do get a separate mask here, which looks great. It looks just as good as the Biomask that is on the actual head sculpt. Very nice paint sculpt on it, and then the inside has a beautiful black wash and very nice sculpt detail, as you can see right there. So we do get that stuff, and let me show you how to put the plasma caster on right now. And the way you get the plasma caster on is basic for NECA Predator figures, and these ones are my favorite because they peg in the most secure. So you do have a peg on the bottom and a peg on the top. You take the bottom peg, peg that one in, and then you slide the top peg into the notch right there, and then there you go. As simple as that, and that looks awesome once you have it on Enforcer. So we do get that stuff. And then we finally get 3 alternate hands. And starting on the top here, we get one left gripping hand, and this is the more wide grip, which is really meant for him to grip onto the spear. And then on the bottom, we get 2 open hands. So the left one is the splayed out open hand, and then we do get a right Smart Disc holding hand. And once again, very nice sculpt and paint throughout all 3 of them, and they are very difficult and scary to swap out. But anyway, that is all the awesome accessories included with this Predator 2-pack. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the reviews, shall we? Now for the height of Bad Blood and Enforcer. To the very top of Enforcer's Biomask, it looks like he's around 8 inches and a quarter of an inch tall, and to the very top of Bad Blood's Biomask, it looks like he's about 8.5 inches tall. And then here they are compared to the NECA Predator Jungle Extraction Dutch, the Ultimate Edition Ahab Predator, the Fugitive Predator, and the AVP Ancient Warrior. And then here they are compared to the Mezco 112 Gladiator Hulk, the SH Figuarts Thanos, the Marvel Legends Evolution of Groot, and the Storm Collectibles Goro. And then here they are compared to the Storm Collectibles Smoke, the SH Figure Arts Sage Mode Naruto, the Mafex Tactical Suit Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And then here they are compared to the SH Figure Arts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, we'll take a look at Enforcer first, and they both have some really good movement. So the head here, you can get Enforcer to look up a really good amount, and then he almost looks directly down, which is great. You get really nice pivot out of this figure here, and then you do get the swivel as well. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso, under the chest there, and it only, well, it does go forward. Alright, it goes back pretty well too, so alright, forward and back movement, pretty good pivot, and then very nice swivel, and then the waist here, pretty much non-existent forward and back, same with the pivot, but you get swivel there as well. Now for the arms here, the shoulders, you can get them out to the side, almost 90 degrees, they do go up and down. We do have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that bend in about 90 degrees, and you do get the swivel at both sides of the gauntlet. Then for the hands, they just swivel and hinge back and forth. I did prefer the ball peg much more over the swivel and hinge there. Now for the legs here, the issue with the legs on mine is they're loose, and that is a continuing issue with these Neca Predator figures. It's worse on Bad Blood there, but he does kick forward almost 90 degrees, which is definitely good. Goes to the back a tiny bit and then kicks out to the side. He can't Jean-Claude Van Damme it, but he's really close to Jean-Claude Van Damming it with the legs there. And then you do get the upper thigh swivel. We do have double jointed knees that bend back all the way, so that is awesome. Then the ankles, they do swivel. They hinge up pretty good, hinge down alright, and then you do get a decent ankle pivot. Not the best, but better than nothing. So that is Enforcer's articulation. Now for Bad Blood here, you can get him to pretty much look directly up, which is awesome. Does almost look all the way down. You do get pretty good pivot out of Bad Blood here, and then it does swivel. It does get hindered by his bone trophy on his shoulder. Then for the torso, goes forward a tiny bit, does not go back at all because it gets hindered by his armor there. A little bit of pivot, and then it does swivel. The waist goes forward and back a little bit, pivots a little bit, and then you do get the swivel as well. So he has better forward and back movement and pivot at the waist compared to Enforcer there. Now for the shoulders here, you can get his arms out almost 90 degrees, which is definitely good. They do go up and down. You do have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that bend in a little more than 90 degrees, so that's definitely good. Then we do have the swivel at the gauntlet on both sides. Then the wrists do swivel, and then they hinge back and forth. Now for the legs here, his are really bad. Look at that, it gets stuck once you hit a certain angle. It just gets stuck there, but it is really loose. His are a lot worse than Enforcer's. He does kick forward a lot more than 90 degrees, so that is definitely good. Goes to the back almost 90 degrees, then kicks out to the sides. Let's see if he can Jean-Claude Van Damme it, and oh my god, he pretty much can. That is awesome. Then we do get the upper thigh swivel or hip swivel. Then we do have, whoa, double jointed knees that bend back all the way, so that is awesome. Then the ankles do swivel. They hinge up really well, hinge down pretty good, and then you do get that alright ankle pivot. That's not the best, but better than nothing. So overall, out of all the Predator figures I have, these two have some of the best articulation along with the Fugitive Predator, and you'll be able to get them into just about any type of badass Predator-like poses, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the Neca Predator 2-pack Bad Blood vs. Enforcer. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this set between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it an 8.5. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this set, I believe toynewsi got this from Neca's store on Amazon.com, so you can get the early release of it there. It should be in retailers either by now or within a week or two. Agelessgeeks does not carry Neca Toys in stock, but you can get your other figures and collectibles from Agelessgeeks.com, or I would recommend going through their Instagram or Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, Oh well, I guess you didn't like it, but thanks for watching. I will see you later. So what is going on? Got a piece of fur in my mouth. That I really do dig a lot about this box, and on the bottom we do get a comic book of both Bad Blood and Enforcer, and then on the bottom we do get a comic book. And then one side of it does have a couple cool images of the Bad Blood Predator that looks really nice. Oh my god, what the hell was that? The Neca Predator Jungle Extraction Dutch, the ultimate... The Neca... The Fugitive Predator and the... We do get a pair of gripping hands, the right gripper hand... the biomasked head sculpt, which is the one that does come on the figure. I'm going to show you how to swap the heads right now. Damn it, I hit the camera.